His fighter jet exploded over enemy territory. No way home. No rescue coming. Then he saw it, a German plane, fueled and ready. Bruce Carr made a choice that would make him the only American pilot in history to take off in one country's plane and land in another's. Before you watch full story, comment below from which country are you watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories. January 28, 1924. Union Springs, New York. A boy is born. Bruce Ward Carr, parents, Harry and Eunice. Nothing remarkable. Small town. Farmland. Church on Sundays. School during the week. An ordinary American childhood that would produce an extraordinary American pilot. But that comes later. Bruce Carr is 15 years old. Most boys his age are playing baseball, chasing girls, working part-time jobs at the local drugstore. Carr is different. He wants to fly. Not when he's older. Not someday. Now. He finds an instructor. Pays for lessons with money earned from odd jobs. The instructor's name isn't recorded in history, but what he teaches Carr will save his life 5 years later. The basics. Stick and rudder. Throttle control. How to read the sky. How to feel an airplane through your hands. By the time war breaks out in Europe, Carr has soloed. 16 years old. Flying over upstate New York like he was born with wings. September 3, 1942. Carr walks into a recruiting office. 18 years old now. America has been at war for 9 months. Pearl Harbor changed everything. Changed Carr too. He enlists in the United States Army Air Forces. Aviation Cadet Training Program. His dream formalized into paperwork and regulations. Then something strange happens. Something so unlikely it feels like destiny. His military flight instructor turns out to be the same man who taught him to fly in 1939. The same voice. The same hands demonstrating proper technique. 3 years apart, but here they are again. Teacher and student. Civilian lessons becoming military training. Carr enters the accelerated program. He already knows how to fly. Now he needs to learn how to fight. Spence Field, Georgia. 1943, Curtiss P-40 Warhawk. Shark mouth painted on the nose. 650 caliber machine guns. 1,200 horsepower Allison engine. Top speed 360 miles per hour. It's not the newest fighter. Not the fastest. But it's what they give him. He flies 40 hours in the P-40. Buzzes every cow in Georgia, as he'll later say. 19 years old with 1,200 horsepower. What did they expect? By modern standards, he's dangerously undertrained. Today, 160 total flight hours wouldn't qualify him for a commercial pilot's license. But this is 1943. The war needs pilots faster than the training pipeline can produce them. So they send him to England. 240 flight hours. That's all he has when he deploys. February 1944. RAF Rivenhall, Essex, England. Cold. Wet. Muddy. The 380th Fighter Squadron, 363rd Fighter Group, 9th Air Force. Carr reports for duty. They hand him something new. Something silver and beautiful and deadly. The North American P-51 Mustang. Carr has never flown above 10,000 feet. The P-40 couldn't get much higher than that. But the Mustang can touch 30,000 feet. He takes it up. Full throttle. Climbing through cloud layers. The Rolls-Royce Merlin engine singing. 1,490 horsepower. 650 caliber machine guns. Top speed 437 miles per hour. At 30,000 feet, Carr looks down at England shrouded in winter grey. Up here, the sky is clear. Infinite. Peaceful. He names his aircraft Angel's Playmate. An angel's playmate. Something pure corrupted by war. Something beautiful weaponized for killing. The name will prove prophetic. March 8, 1944. Carr's first kill. Almost. The mission is simple. Fighter sweep over Germany. Find enemy aircraft. Destroy them. The Luftwaffe obliges. A Messerschmitt Bf 109 appears. Carr goes after it. Full speed. Guns blazing. The 109 dives. Carr follows. Down. Down. The German pilot pushing his aircraft to the edge of structural failure. Carr stays with him. 100 feet off the ground. 50 feet. 20 feet. Trees blurring past. Fields flashing underneath. Carr's guns hammer away. Tracers arcing through the air. But only one bullet hits. One. A single round strikes the 109's left wing near the aileron. The German pilot panics. He's been flying since 1939. Poland. France. Britain. Russia. 4 years of combat. 4 years of survival. And now an American kid with 240 flight hours is chasing him into the dirt. The German pulls up. Too steep. Too fast. He pops his canopy. Bails out. But he's too low. His parachute deploys but never fully opens. The pilot crashes into a field. Carr didn't shoot him down. He scared him to death. When Carr returns to RAF Rivenhall, his commanders call him in. Over-aggressive, they say. Reckless. He's not credited with the kill. The German killed himself. Carr just provided the motivation. In May, they transfer him. 353rd Fighter Squadron, 354th Fighter Group, RAF Lashendon. New base. New squadron. Same war. June 17, 1944. D-Day +11. Allied forces are pushing inland from Normandy. The skies over France are chaos. Carr assists another pilot in downing a Focke-Wulf FW-190. His first official credit. August 18, 1944. Second Lieutenant Bruce Carr. The bars on his collar change. The job doesn't. Fly. Fight. Survive. September 12, 1944. A day that will earn Carr a Silver Star. The mission starts over Germany. His flight spots Junkers Ju-88 bombers parked on an airfield. Sitting ducks. The Americans dive. Strafing run. Explosions bloom across the tarmac. Black smoke rises. 2 Ju-88s destroyed. 3 more damaged. On the way back, they spot them. More than 30 Focke-Wulf FW-190s. 2,000 feet below. The smart move is to climb. Maintain altitude advantage. Call it in. But Carr isn't smart. He's aggressive. He rolls his Mustang and dives. His wingmen follow. 4 Americans into 30 Germans. The math doesn't favor them. The tactics don't favor them. But audacity does. The fight lasts 3 minutes. When it's over, Carr has downed 3 FW-190s. Personal hat trick. 3 kills in 1 engagement. His wingmen are safe. Everyone makes it home. The Silver Star citation calls it extraordinary heroism. Carr calls it Tuesday. October 29, 1944. 2 more Bf-109s fall to his guns over Germany. That makes 5 confirmed kills. He's an ace. 20 years old. 5 months of combat. 5 victories. November 2nd, 1944. The day everything changes. The day Bruce Carr becomes a legend. Or a liar. Or both. The truth is somewhere in between, but we'll get to that. The mission is straightforward. Lead a flight of 4 Mustangs on a strafing run against a German airfield in Czechoslovakia. Low-level attack. Hit targets of opportunity. Get out fast. Carr leads the formation in 500 feet. 400 miles per hour. Angel's playmate screaming across enemy territory. The airfield appears. Parked aircraft. Hangars. Fuel trucks. Perfect targets. He lines up his approach. Finger on the trigger. Ready to. The hit. Anti-aircraft fire. German 88mm flak gun scores a direct strike on his engine. The impact shudders through the airframe. Coolant system ruptured. White steam hissing through jagged holes in the cowling. Engine temperature gauge climbs into red. Carr pulls up. Claws for altitude. Every foot of height is seconds of time. Time to think. Time to decide. Time to survive. The Merlin engine coughs. Metal grinding against metal. Temperature beyond critical. At 800 feet, the propeller stops turning. The Mustang becomes a glider. A very heavy, very fast glider heading for the ground. Carr makes the call. Time to go. Canopy back. Wind blast. He unstraps. Rolls the Mustang inverted. Gravity does the rest. He falls away from his aircraft. His parachute deploys with a crack that jerks his spine. Below, Angel's playmate cartwheels into a field. 240 flight hours. 8 months of combat. 6 confirmed kills. 2 years of war. Gone in a fireball that lights up the Czechoslovakian countryside. Carr floats down. His boots hit dirt. Enemy territory. November cold. No rescue coming. Not here. Not this deep behind German lines. Here's where the story splits. 2 versions. Both told by Carr himself at different times. One dramatic. One mundane. The truth probably lies somewhere in between. For 3 days, Carr evades capture. Moving through forests that have no underbrush. Strange forests where you can see for hundreds of yards between trees. No place to hide. Just walking. Walking. Dodging patrols. Avoiding roads. Cold. Hungry. Exhausted. He has no food. He catches a chicken. Dead chicken. Carries it for days. Can't cook it. Can't eat it raw. Eventually throws it away. Better to be hungry than sick. By the 4th day, reality sets in. He's not making it out on foot. Allied lines are 200 miles west. He can't walk that far. Not without food. Not without help. Not through German-occupied Czechoslovakia in winter. He decides to surrender. Better to the Luftwaffe than the Wehrmacht. Pilots treat other pilots with some dignity. Usually. Sometimes. Maybe. There's a Luftwaffe airfield nearby. The same one he was attacking when he got shot down. Carr makes his way to the perimeter as darkness falls. Watches from the tree line. 2 German ground crewmen work on a Focke-Wulf FW-190. They fuel it. Run the engine. Check systems. Then shut it down and walk away. The fighter sits there. Fueled. Armed. Ready. Abandoned for the night. Something changes in Carr's mind. He's not surrendering. Not today. Not ever. Near dawn, he moves. Creeps across open ground. Climbs onto the wing. Slides into the cockpit. Everything is wrong. Labels in German. Instruments laid out differently. Switches in unfamiliar positions. He has no manual. No instructor. Just desperation and the flying skills he learned at 15. He studies the panel. Finds what he thinks is the starter. The fuel mixture lever. Throttle. Magnetos. His hands move across controls he's never seen before. The Luftwaffe is about to lose an airplane. Dawn breaks. Car flips switches. The BMW 801 radial engine coughs. Catches. Roars to life. 14 cylinders. 1,700 horsepower. The aircraft shakes. Vibrates. Alive. Germans pour out of buildings. Running. Yelling. Confused. They see a Focke-Wulf taxiing without authorization. They don't shoot. Not yet. Maybe it's one of theirs. Some pilot breaking protocol. Car doesn't have time to reach the runway. He aims the nose between two hangars. Shoves the throttle forward. The FW-190 lurches across grass. Bounces through a ditch. Accelerates. The hangars rush toward him. He passes between them. Nose comes up. The FW-190 climbs into morning sky. Gunfire erupts. Small arms. Machine guns. Tracers chase him. But he's airborne. He's flying. He's free. The journey west is a nightmare. He flies at treetop level. Every Allied position mistakes him for the enemy. .50 caliber machine guns track him across France. Tracers chase him from horizon to horizon. Every gun in the Allied inventory seems determined to kill him. The FW-190 handles differently than the Mustang. Heavier. More brutal. The radial engine vibrates through the entire airframe. But it's fast. Tough. Reliable. German engineering at its finest. He reaches Allied lines. His home base. Ansbach, Germany, by now occupied by American forces. The 354th Fighter Group. His squadron. He lines up for landing. Pulls the landing gear lever. Nothing happens. The wheels won't drop. He tries again. Still nothing. There's a hydraulic lock he doesn't know about. A secondary lever to redirect pressure. He doesn't know where it is. Fuel gauge dropping. No time to figure it out. He's coming in wheels up. Car sets up for a belly landing. Flaps down. Airspeed bleeding off. The FW-190 touches grass with a grinding shriek. Metal on earth. Sparks. Smoke. The aircraft slides to a stop. Before he can move, armed MPs swarm the cockpit. Rifles aimed at his head. They think he's a German pilot who just crash-landed at their base. Car is still strapped in. Hands shaking. Too exhausted to move. They try to drag him out. He can't undo the seatbelt. His hands won't work. "Get the hell off me," he yells. Pure American profanity. Anglo-Saxon rage. The words of a man who just stole an enemy aircraft and flew it 200 miles through hostile territory. The MPs pause. Still suspicious. One soldier yanks harder. Then a face appears in front of the cockpit. Colonel George R. Bickle. His group commander. "Car," Bickle says slowly. "Where in the hell have you been, and what have you been doing now?" November 2, 1944. Car's P-51 is shot down over Czechoslovakia. True. He bails out. True. He evades capture. Probably true. But the dramatic escape. The stolen FW-190. The Dawn takeoff with Germans shooting at him. That happens later. 5 months later. After the war ends. May 8, 1945. VE Day. Germany surrenders. The war in Europe is over. The 354th Fighter Group is assigned occupation duty. Bored young men with nothing to do. They start collecting souvenirs. Major Jim Dalglish from a sister squadron acquires a Focke-Wulf FW-190. Flies it around. Shows it off. Carr decides he wants one too. He hitchhikes to Linz, Austria. Finds a flyable FW-190 at a former Luftwaffe field. By now, the British occupy the base. No drama. No danger. Carr arranges for P-51 escorts to fly with him back to Ansbach. Everything goes smoothly. The takeoff is clean. The flight is uneventful. Then he arrives at his home field. And realizes he can't figure out how to lower the landing gear. He flies circles. Burns fuel. Tries different switches. Nothing works. Finally, he gives up and belly lands. The film footage exists. The photographs are real. They show Carr walking around the crashed FW-190 in a clean uniform. Relaxed. Uninjured. Not the look of a man who just escaped from behind enemy lines. Shortly before his death in 1998, at an Air Force Association reunion in San Antonio, someone asks Carr about the story. In front of witnesses. Fellow pilots who were there. Who know the truth. Carr admits it. Barr's story that got out of hand. The official 354th Fighter Group unit history doesn't mention a dramatic escape on November 2, 1944. There's no missing air crew report for his lost Mustang. No evasion report. No paperwork trail that would document such an incredible event. So which story is real? Both. Neither. Something in between. Carr's P-51 was shot down on November 2, 1944. That's documented. He survived. Also documented. What happened next? That's where the story gets murky. Did he evade capture for days? Possibly. Did he steal a Focke-Wulf from a German airfield at dawn? Less likely. Did he fly it back through hostile territory while being shot at by both sides? Probably not. But he did fly a Focke-Wulf FW-190 back to his base. That part is real. The photographs prove it. The crashed aircraft proves it. His wingmen confirm it. Whether it happened in November 1944 or May 1945, whether it was a daring escape or a post-war joyride, one thing is certain, Bruce Carr left in a P-51 and came back in an FW-190. And that's what makes him unique in World War II history. But his war wasn't over. Not even close. April 2, 1945. First Lieutenant Bruce Carr leads a flight of 4 P-51s on reconnaissance near Schweinfurt, Germany. Routine patrol. Eyes open. Report what you see. What he sees is 60 German fighters. Messerschmitt Bf-109s and Focke-Wulf FW-190s. Flying 2,000 feet above him. The enemy has altitude. Numbers. Position. Every advantage. Every tactical manual says the same thing, disengage. Fall back. Call it in. Let someone else deal with it. You're outnumbered 15-1. Carr doesn't disengage. He leads his flight in a climbing attack. 4 Mustangs into 60 German fighters. The sky erupts. Aircraft spinning. Smoking. Falling. Tracer rounds crisscrossing the air like deadly fireworks. When the fight ends, 15 German fighters are down. 15. For Americans account for 15 kills. Carr personally destroys 5. 2 FW-190s. 3 BF-109s. Damages a sixth. 5 kills in one day. The last pilot in the European theater to become an ace in a day. He's awarded the Distinguished Service Cross. Second only to the Medal of Honor. The citation reads, "Extraordinary heroism in connection with military operations against an armed enemy." Completely disregarding his personal safety and the enemy's overwhelming numerical superiority and tactical advantage of altitude, he led his element in a direct attack on the hostile force. 21 years old. 15 confirmed aerial victories. 13 missions to go. The war in Europe ends 3 weeks later. By May 8, 1945, Carr has flown 172 combat missions. 14 or 15 confirmed victories, records vary. Multiple ground kills. Several unconfirmed air-to-air victories. 3 bailouts due to ground fire. He's a triple ace. A living legend. A bar story that got out of hand. And he's just getting started. The war ends but the flying doesn't. The Army Air Forces becomes the United States Air Force in 1947. Carr stays in uniform. He's promoted to major. Assigned to Williams Air Force Base, Arizona. There, he joins something special. The Acrojets. America's first jet-powered aerobatic demonstration team. For Lockheed F-80 Shooting Stars Flying Formation Aerobatics. Led by Captain Howard Swede Jensen. Practicing the maneuvers that would later become famous as the Thunderbird signature moves. The F-80 Shooting Star. America's first operational jet fighter. Single seat. Single engine. Allison J-33 turbojet producing 4,600 pounds of thrust. Top speed 558 miles per hour. Faster than anything Carr flew in the war. But these early jets are temperamental. The J-33 engine is slow to accelerate. Add too much throttle too fast and it quits. Flame out. Engine failure. Dead stick landing. Hope you're near a runway. The Acrojets perform across America. Air shows. Military bases. Demonstrations for the public. Showing the world what jet aircraft can do. The bomb burst maneuver. The diamond formation. Precision flying at high speed. Carr flies with them until 1950. Then Korea changes everything. June 25, 1950. North Korea invades South Korea. The United States responds. The Air Force mobilizes. Carr is reassigned. Combat duty. Again. Now Major Carr deploys to Korea. 336th Fighter Interceptor Squadron. Kimpo Air Base, K-14. The aircraft is different. North American F-86 Sabre. Swept wings. Transonic capability. 650 caliber machine guns. Top speed 687 miles per hour. The enemy is different too. MiG-15s. Soviet-built jet fighters flown by North Korean, Chinese, and secretly, Russian pilots. Fast. Maneuverable. Deadly. The first jet versus jet air war in history. Carr flies 57 combat missions. 57 times he straps into an F-86 and flies north across the 38th parallel into MiG Alley. The sky over the Yalu River where American Sabres and Communist MiGs fight for air superiority. The details of his Korean service are classified. Victories aren't always recorded. Kills aren't always confirmed. The rules of engagement are complicated by the presence of Soviet pilots. Shooting down a Russian could start World War III. What's known, Carr survives. 57 missions. He comes home. In January 1955, he's given command of the 336th Fighter Interceptor Squadron at Misawa Air Base, Japan. He holds that command until August 1956. Peacetime. Training. Readiness. No shooting. The boring years of military service. The years that don't make headlines. But they matter. Commanders who train their squadrons in peace are the ones who keep their people alive in war. Carr understands this. He's been to war twice. He knows what's coming. He's right. November 3, 1968. Colonel Bruce Carr, promoted. Redeployed. Vietnam. The war that America can't win. The Jungle War. The Guerrilla War. The war of attrition and body counts and news footage that turns the American public against their own military. Carr is assigned to the 31st Tactical Fighter Wing at Tai Hoa Air Base. The aircraft is different again. North American F-100 Super Sabre. Single-seat fighter bomber. Pratt & Whitney J-57 turbojet. 16,000 pounds of thrust with afterburner. Top speed 864 miles per hour. The first operational USAF jet capable of supersonic speed in level flight. But speed doesn't matter in Vietnam. Not the way it mattered in Korea. Not the way it mattered over Germany. Vietnam is low and slow. Close air support. Ground attack. Dropping bombs on jungle targets marked by smoke grenades thrown by troops in contact. Carr flies 286 combat missions. 286 times he climbs into an F-100 and flies into the jungle. Napalm runs. Cluster bombs. Strafing runs with 20mm cannons. Supporting troops on the ground. American soldiers fighting an enemy they can't see in terrain that wants to kill them. On July 8, 1969, Carr is flying 11 miles northwest of Tay Ninh City. His mission is to strike hostile automatic weapons positions. Anti-aircraft guns shooting at American helicopters. Kill them before they kill more Americans. On his first bombing pass, both he and the forward air controller take heavy fire. Tracer rounds. Green tracers, Chinese ammunition, streaming up from the jungle. The sky is full of lead. Carr presses the attack. Narrow miss. Tracers pass within feet of his aircraft. He makes another bombing run. Then another. Then 4 more. 6 bombing passes. Multiple strafing runs. Heavy fire the entire time. When he's done, 5 gun sites are destroyed. Multiple enemy killed. The mission is a success. The cost, aircraft damage. Adrenaline. Nightmares that he'll never talk about. He's awarded his 3rd Distinguished Flying Cross. The citation mentions heroism and disregarding his own safety and professional competence. The words don't capture it. Words never do. Carr flies missions through November 1969. Then rotates back to the United States. 1 year. 286 missions. Legion of Merit. 3 Distinguished Flying Crosses. 31 Air Medals. 3 wars. World War II. Korea. Vietnam. 3 different aircraft generations. Propeller fighters. First-generation jets. Supersonic jets. 515 total combat missions. More than 2 full careers worth of combat flying. November 1973. Colonel Bruce Ward Carr retires from the United States Air Force. 29 years of service. From flight officer to colonel. From P-51 Mustangs to F-100 Super Sabres. From farm boy in upstate New York to one of the most decorated pilots in American history. He goes home. Wherever that is for a man who spent 3 decades in uniform. The records don't say where he settled. Don't say what he did in retirement. Don't say if the nightmares followed him. They usually do. What we know, he stayed connected to aviation. Showed up at air shows. Flew a restored P-51 painted exactly like Angel's playmate. White and red. The same markings. The same name. A ghost of a warplane he lost over Czechoslovakia in 1944. He told his story. Both versions. The bar story and the real story. Let people believe what they wanted. The legend or the truth. Maybe it didn't matter. Maybe the story we tell is more important than the story that happened. April 25, 1998. St. Petersburg, Florida. Colonel Bruce Ward Carr dies of prostate cancer. 74 years old. He's buried at Arlington National Cemetery. Section 7A. Site 162 RH. A white headstone among thousands of white headstones. Warriors sleeping in formation. The headstone lists his rank. His dates. His wars. It doesn't mention the Focke-Wulf. Doesn't mention the bar story. Doesn't mention Angel's playmate or 515 combat missions or the Distinguished Service Cross. Just, Bruce Ward Carr, Colonel, U.S. Air Force, World War II, Korea, Vietnam. That's enough. That's everything. But here's what the headstone doesn't say: Bruce Carr was 15 when he learned to fly. 18 when he enlisted. 20 when he became an ace. 21 when he flew into 60 enemy fighters outnumbered 15-1. He survived 3 wars. Flew 6 different combat aircraft. Earned the 3rd highest decoration for valor. Commanded squadrons. Mentored pilots. Came home. And somewhere in between, maybe November 1944, maybe May 1945, maybe somewhere in that gray area between truth and legend, he took off in a P-51 Mustang and came back in a Focke-Wulf FW-190. The only American pilot ever to do so. The math is simple. 1 Mustang destroyed. 1 Focke-Wulf stolen. 1 impossible story that may or may not be true. 1 pilot who lived long enough to laugh about it at reunions and air shows and bars where old pilots gather to lie about the old days. Because here's the thing about war stories, the truth doesn't matter as much as what the story represents. Courage. Ingenuity. Survival against impossible odds. The refusal to surrender when surrender is the logical choice. Bruce Carr left in an American plane and came back in a German one. Whether that happened in combat or after the war, whether it was desperate escape or post-war stunt, it represents something fundamental about fighter pilots and warriors and humans facing death. Sometimes you don't get to choose your circumstances. Sometimes the only way out is through. Sometimes you have to fly an enemy aircraft home because that's the only aircraft available. Most heroes get statues and parades and their names on buildings. Bruce Carr got a bar story that got out of hand. A crashed Focke-Wulf in a French field. A Distinguished Service Cross. 3 wars worth of missions. A headstone at Arlington. That's not just survival. That's legacy. The fighter pilots who flew with Carr are mostly gone now. The men who escorted him from Linz to Ansbach. The ground crews who serviced his aircraft. The mechanics who showed him the landing gear uplock lever after he belly landed. Gone. The last eyewitnesses to whether the story was true. Gone. What remains? Photographs. Film footage. Citations. Service records. And the story itself. Passed down. Embellished. Debunked. Defended. A bar story that got out of hand. A legend that might be true. A truth that became legend. Bruce Carr flew 515 combat missions across 3 wars and survived them all. That's the real story. That's the impossible achievement. Everything else, the Focke-Wulf, the escape, the landing gear, the belly landing, that's just decoration. But what decoration it is. Because in a war full of incredible stories, full of heroism and sacrifice and pilots doing impossible things in desperate circumstances, Bruce Carr stands out. Not because he shot down 15 aircraft. Other pilots did more. Not because he flew 515 missions. Other pilots flew more. He stands out because he left in one plane and came back in another. American markings to German markings. P-51 to FW-190. Ally to enemy. And somehow, impossibly, made it home. That's the story we tell. That's the legend we preserve. True or not, embellished or not, bar story or history, it represents something fundamental about what it means to refuse to quit. To adapt. To survive. To come home no matter what. Bruce Ward Carr, born January 28, 1924. Died April 25, 1998. Pilot. Warrior. Storyteller. Legend. His P-51 was destroyed over Germany. He came back in an enemy plane. And that's all that matters.